West disappeared, reported missing in December, not seen or heard from since. Our affiliate, KERO, has the story.
The Cal City community is still distraught over the two missing boys. There is now a new addition to the neighborhood. This is a small memorial, leaving candles and toys, hoping the toddlers come home safely.
We'll have to get together as a community and just try to help find these children ourselves and do the best we can.
With guns drawn, authorities enter the California City home of Trezell and Jacqueline West, the adoptive parents of 3-year-old Orson West and 4-year-old Orrin West. The parents told authorities their two boys disappeared from their backyard on December 21st and believe someone kidnapped them.
They do not just roam around, these patches. They definitely would have been picked up or something.
We have no way of knowing how they got out of the yard. Nothing that shows how they got out of the yard and if they wandered out of the yard.
California City Police Chief John Walker believes this is now more than just a missing persons case. He believes foul play was involved.
Someone knows, and I would hope that person would come forward.
And that's why Walker says authorities have paid so much attention on the couple's home, even digging up the backyard.
We're just trying to dig up any clues that we can possibly find to find out where they had gone, and also to confirm that they're not in the backyard.
Noise like jackhammering or roto hammering, like they were trying to dig through dirt or break concrete.
The adoptive parents gave their account of what happened, claiming that the two boys went outside to play with chalk while their adoptive mother wrapped their Christmas presents. Their adoptive father said that he left the gate open. When he realized the boys were gone, he began searching for them. The adoptive parents declined an interview today, saying police advised them to stay inside, leaving some to wonder why.
I would be nonstop looking if it was my child. You wouldn't even keep me inside.
200 volunteers who dedicated around 4 hours looking for any clues that could lead to the West boys' whereabouts. Some volunteers shared with 23 ABC that they walked nearly 5 miles canvassing the area. Amongst the group were the boys' biological mother.
If they find my kids, can they just give them back to me? Whatever I have to do to work on it to get them. I have a home, I have a car, I have a job, I have money. It's nothing to provide for them. I come from a good background, as you can see, and I don't understand. I just want my babies. If they find them, just give them back to me, please. That's all I want.
Throughout the search, you could occasionally hear groups shouting and waving to law enforcement if they found something of interest. And if it turned out to be an item of possible significance, it was then taken in for analyzation. But there was one item they found that stood out.
Basically, what we found was a piece of or a gift bag with the name of one of the children on it. But being in such close proximity to the house, that's not super unusual. But it's something we definitely want to take a look at.
Although the boys have yet to be located and no arrests have been made or suspects named, this community says they will ensure the boys won't be overlooked.
From every neighbor you guys spoke to, not a single sight of them.
No.
When was the most recent that a neighbor cited they've seen the kids?
None of the neighbors have seen the kids.
Ever?
No.
Despite search efforts that haven't turned up anything, neighbors are still trying to think positive during a dark time in this small community.
Hopefully, they'll find the children alive.
All right, folks, here's the number, 760-373-8606. 760-373-8606. That's the Cal City Police Department. If you have any information, no matter how insignificant you might think it is, please make that call tonight. As a story, it doesn't make a lot of sense. There's a lot of questions, not a ton of answers right now. But we've got a special guest joining us tonight in Denver, Colorado. He's the anchor and reporter for our affiliate, KMGH. Bayan Wang is with us. Worked this story when he was working in Bakersfield, still working the story tonight for us. Bayan, let's start here with, for folks, what's the latest that we've heard here? And my understanding is Bakersfield is taking the lead in this investigation, not Cal City, where they allegedly disappeared from. What are you hearing out there?
Yeah, hey, Vinny, good evening. Actually, the lead investigator role shifted back in March when Cal City and BPD basically got together and spoke with all the other agencies involved, the FBI, the Kern County Sheriff's Office, and they said that the evidence essentially led authorities to believe that the focus of the investigation needs to be in Bakersfield. And just for context, that's where the previous residences of this family was. And the Bakersfield Police Department actually released some data just recently, earlier this month. They actually stated that they have executed 44 search warrants, which have been conducted on residences and electronic devices. From those search warrants, they were able to seize 170 items. 83 different people have been interviewed so far. There has been 16 mass area searches, so a search not just on the community level, but of fields of the sprawling desert in California City. And we understand that 3 of those searches have been conducted outside the state of California. Still, so many tips coming in, and you said it at the top of the hour perfectly, a lot more questions than there are answers right now. So this one's kind of up in the air, and it's really weighing in on the community right now.
I want to play for everyone Trezell West, who is the father, the adoptive father of the children. But that's, once you adopt a child, you are the father, as he describes when these boys went missing. Let's take a listen.
They came missing right before it got dark. And then we called. I searched that property. I even drove around this neighborhood right here. I even talked to a gentleman on that side, on those streets over there. I said, "Did you see some little black kids?"
Did you go that way looking for them?
That's the way I was gonna come. But when I came back home, I decided to call the cops because it was dark. They couldn't have got away that fast.
And why did it take 2 people to go in the house and leave 2 kids out here by themselves? It should have been 1 parent going in and 1 parent right here watching the child, not 2 parents going in the house and leaving 2 little kids out here by themselves for 10 minutes.
No, they were in the backyard, and the back gate was open.
Out the backyard?
And the back gate was open, and I was getting wood from this lot here.
All right. So can you explain to us what the father is saying is his version of what happened here? The kids are in the backyard, the gate is open, and he's getting firewood from somewhere. Can you kind of give us some perspective on where all these different locations are as he describes the time when the children went missing?
Yeah, the home is actually located on a pretty good sized lot. So essentially, as you were kind of saying, he was gathering wood because this was in December. It was a bit chilly out there in the desert. The kids were outside playing with chalk on the patio. According to the adoptive family, he says that his wife, Jacqueline, was inside wrapping Christmas presents. So they obviously didn't want to see, according to them, have the kids see them wrapping the Christmas presents. And then all of a sudden the kids vanished. The dad went inside the home, came out, noticed they weren't there. And then, as you heard him say in the interview, he looked inside, didn't see them, kind of panicked, went outside of the home into the front yard, didn't see them, got in his car, drove around. According to him, he spoke to a person that happened to be in the area, said, "Hey, did you see my kids?" They said no. He says within a matter of minutes, he called law enforcement. Then the California City Police Department were the lead investigators. So they got a CHP helicopter up in the air, sent dogs coming out, search dogs looking for them. 7 months, almost 7 months later, still not a clue, at least for what we understand from law enforcement.
All right, so as we evaluate the father's story here, there is almost an exact time as to when these children went missing. It's a very small window. There are neighbors there that have surveillance videos, right? I mean, there's neighborhoods across America, there's surveillance videos everywhere. Here it's very flat. Of those surveillance videos, did anyone produce a surveillance video from that window of time when he said these children went missing, of a car driving up, of someone going into the backyard, of the children walking out? Does any of that exist? Have we heard anything about that from anyone's surveillance video in that neighborhood?
Gosh, Vinny, every single question you're asking me is the same ones that I asked law enforcement. As you said, there has been surveillance footage, and they said, there's not a lot of info they could get into that they're ready to release. Just by me observing and other folks in my newsroom observing the video, it's kind of hard to tell exactly what happened because it's kind of approaching nighttime there. The sun is going down. It's not as bright as daylight. So I would be kind of, remiss as a reporter to speculate on what was shown or not shown on that surveillance video.
Were there any cars? I mean, if it's getting dark and you're driving a car, you're going to have your lights on.
Any. Yeah, I didn't see any happen around that time. So from what I was able to see, I didn't see any car lights or cars approaching or anyone leaving the property around that time frame.
So where does it seem? I mean, if the investigation's in Bakersfield, and we're almost out of time here, the family, the parents, right? They're adoptive parents, but they are the parents. They moved to Cal City from Bakersfield. When they lived in Bakersfield, they did have those two children with them, right? They lived in Bakersfield first before they moved to Cal, Little Orrin and Orson.
Well, according to what law enforcement is saying right now, yeah, the official report right now is that those kids were with the adoptive parents, not only in Bakersfield, but in California City as well. And that those kids went missing on December 21st. Now, what the investigation actually produces, once more information is released to the media, might show a complete different story. But Vinny, it's really frustrating to say right now that I don't think we're there yet. I don't think law enforcement is there yet. And last time I spoke to BPD, they really sounded, at least from what the PIO was telling me, that they wanted to release more information, but they never dealt with a missing persons case of this high profile. And they obviously don't want to release info that's going to jeopardize their investigation. So last I heard from Sergeant Robert Pear of BPD, he said that they're trying to look at the Kristen Smart case of California to see what kind of info the police department released for that case, so they could actually take a blueprint and know the kind of info they could release to the public at this time, so that there isn't that eerie feeling, which there is. I spoke to a lot of Bakersfield residents. I spoke to a lot of California City residents. Those prayer vigils that you and I spoke about last time we were on your show, those prayer gatherings, those community events, well, those are dying down. It's getting a lot more quiet. And, the hope's still there, but it's dimming away.
Bayan Wang, KMGH in Denver, thank you so much for joining us tonight, providing all this insight, and we'll speak again. Thank you.
We will. Thanks, Vinny.
All right, folks, when we come back, we're going to take